From Southern California mansions to the most expensive car in the NFL, this is the insane lifestyle of Philip Rivers. Hit the intro.
Rivers, and he's got a man, touchdown! And that's Philip Rivers with a touchdown pass.
Now, before we get into the personal life that most fans never see, let's rewind to where it all started. Philip Rivers was born in Decatur, Alabama, where football wasn't just part of the household, it was the family business. His father, Steve Rivers, was a head football coach at Decatur High School, and his mother, Joan, was a teacher, meaning discipline, structure, and routine were just baked into daily life. At just 10 years old, Rivers was already thinking big. For a 5th grade project about dreams and aspirations, he cut out a Minnesota Vikings player from Sports Illustrated and pasted his own face over it. As you can see, even then, his goal was clear. His first official start came in 7th grade, and by 9th grade, he had settled into a number that would follow him for the rest of his career, number 17, worn in honor of his father who had worn the same number in high school. After his dad accepted a new coaching job, Rivers moved to Athens High School, where his reputation began to grow quickly. By his senior year, he had established himself as the best high school passer in the state of Alabama. But despite offers from powerhouse programs like Auburn and Alabama, there was a catch. Neither school saw him as their future starting quarterback. So Rivers made a decision that would define his entire career. He turned them down. Instead, he chose NC State, a program that believed in him as a quarterback, not just a name on the depth chart. Okay, let's hit on his early career. Rivers became the Wolfpack's quarterback as a freshman and never gave the job back, starting 51 consecutive games, an Iron Man streak that became part of his identity. By the end of his first season, he earned Freshman of the Year honors. Then came 2002. Rivers led NC State to a 9-0 start and a top 10 national ranking, the best opening stretch in school history. Now his senior season was the peak. Rivers led the entire NCAA in passer rating and completion percentage, and shattered nearly every ACC passing record in existence. In his final bowl game, he threw for a career-high 475 yards and 5 touchdowns, winning his 2nd straight bowl MVP and cementing his legacy.
Rivers will get it here. Another touchdown. That's 5. Philip Rivers, eye-popping numbers in his final game as a college player.
By the time his college career was over, Rivers had rewritten the NC State record books, finishing with over 13,000 passing yards, 95 touchdowns, and countless ACC records. The dude's jersey was retired before his final home game. Then came draft night, and everything changed. The 2004 NFL Draft was loaded with quarterback talent: Eli Manning, Ben Roethlisberger, Philip Rivers. Rivers was selected 4th overall by the New York Giants, seemingly locking him in as their future franchise quarterback. But almost immediately, the situation unraveled. Eli Manning made it clear he did not want to play for the Chargers, who held the first pick.
We've talked about all this and made our comments already, and we're sticking to it.
Behind the scenes, negotiations heated up. And within hours, the Giants and Chargers pulled off the most famous draft day trade in NFL history.
San Diego Chargers and the New York Giants have exchanged their draft picks.
Rivers was sent to San Diego, while the Giants received Eli Manning. For Philip Rivers, it meant one thing: his NFL career was going to start off with a chip on his shoulder.
Can you believe Philip Rivers would actually be the 4th pick in the draft?
Let's talk about the clips that turned him into a viral sensation. Once he hit the field, his throwing motion took over the conversation. Every season, analysts questioned his sidearm release, and every season, Rivers just kept proving it didn't matter.
With arguably one of the most awkward throwing motions in the history of football.
Then came the trash talk. Mic'd up clips showed Rivers talking non-stop, yelling full sentences without swearing, driving defenders insane, and turning him into an internet favorite.
90-yard touchdown!
By 2007, his toughness became legendary. In the AFC Championship game, Rivers played the entire game on a torn ACL, limping between snaps and one of the gutsiest performances the league had ever seen. A few years later, the internet found a new reason to clip him. In 2011, Rivers accidentally fumbled a kneel down, a moment replayed endlessly as one of the strangest mental errors by a quarterback.
Philip Rivers lost the ball. He lost the ball pulling away from the center.
When the team moved to LA, those moments somehow got louder, with Rivers yelling in near-empty stadiums.
Run! Hey, run! Hey, run! Hey, run!
In 2018, he went viral again, but for the right reasons, leading a comeback against the Chiefs capped by a gutsy two-point conversion that replayed non-stop across the league.
Play the final play that matters. End zone wide open. What a night! And the Chargers have their first lead of the night.
Then came the final twist. In Indianapolis, Rivers became Grandpa Rivers, moving like his cleats were stuck in cement while still winning games and trash-talking defenders half his age. In 2021, Rivers announced his retirement from the NFL after 17 seasons. And in 2025, he signed a contract so he could retire as a Charger. But just weeks later, something weird happened. Colts starting QB Daniel Jones went down with an Achilles injury. So Indy picked up the phone and made a call to Rivers, and 4 days later, he threw his first touchdown pass in 5 years.
Rivers, and he's got a man, touchdown!
Okay, but what we really want to know is how the dude spends his cash. And his house definitely sets him apart from the rest of the league. Rivers owned a 6,800 square foot Spanish-style estate inside the gated Santa Luz community, one of the most exclusive neighborhoods in San Diego, dropping a cool $3.675 million on the mansion. The home sat on over an acre of land and was built for both luxury and family life. It features 6 bedrooms, vaulted ceilings, and a private office to watch game day film. The kitchen alone had 2 islands, clearly designed for a house that was always full. Outside, it was basically a private resort. A saltwater pool, putting green, playhouse for the kids, massive covered patios, an outdoor fireplace, and a built-in barbecue. The property was fully gated and overlooked the Santa Luz Club golf course. After the Chargers left for LA, Rivers made a choice to keep the house. And to make it work, he turned his daily drive into one of the most legendary rides in the NFL. He spent $200 grand converting his luxury SUV into a full-blown mobile office on wheels. I mean, we're talking private jet-style seats, a 40-inch TV, Wi-Fi, satellite TV, and even a refrigerator, all strapped into the back of a customized SUV. He famously said some days he actually hoped for traffic because it meant more time to prepare. And when he signed with Indy, the dude went all out. Rivers dropped $1 million on a 7,500 square foot craftsman-style home in Westfield. The house features 5 bedrooms, soaring ceilings, and 4 fireplaces spread across the main level. Downstairs, it turns into full NFL mode. A walkout basement with a wet bar, wine closet, large home gym, and a projection theater system. More recently, he built an entire compound after his move to Alabama. Coach John Gruden even took a moment to stop by.
We're going to try to go find Philip Rivers right here in Fairhope, Alabama.
The estate features a full-size football field, massive in-ground pool, and tennis courts. And now for a peek into his personal life. Because his life off the field is just as intense as his career on it. He married his junior high school sweetheart, Tiffany, back in 2001, and the two have been inseparable ever since. The couple are devout Catholics, and family has always come first for Rivers, literally. Together, they have 10 children, 7 daughters and 3 sons, turning Rivers' home into something that feels closer to a youth football program than a house. In 2024, he officially added a new title to his resume, grandfather. Football never strayed far from home either. His oldest son, Gunnar, became the starting quarterback at St. Michael Catholic High School in Alabama, where Philip himself stepped in as head coach after retiring from the NFL. Gunnar is a highly touted 4-star quarterback in the class of 2027. Okay, now for some moments that caused some waves in his career. After coming out of retirement, the Colts' decision to sign Philip Rivers sparked immediate backlash. Analysts and former quarterbacks questioned whether bringing back a 44-year-old quarterback was irresponsible, and whether it blocked opportunities for younger players. Cam Newton went even further, calling the move a slap in the face, pointing out that he remained unsigned while a retired quarterback was given another shot.
It's almost like a slap in my face, bro.
It's like, yeah.
I ain't gonna lie.
Former NFL safety Ryan Clark piled on, openly questioning why teams keep recycling older quarterbacks instead of giving chances to younger or overlooked talent.
I believe this is incompetent, and I also believe it is irresponsible.
What was meant to be a feel-good comeback suddenly turned into a full-blown debate about favoritism, privilege, and who really gets second chances in the NFL. Shannon Sharpe took it even further, questioning the signing of Rivers before even considering Colin Kaepernick. He later called it running from the truth and hinting that race may have played a role. As for on the field, Rivers was one of the league's most aggressive trash talkers, constantly jawing at defenders, coaches, and even officials. However, he's famous inside NFL circles for never swearing, even during trash talk. Rivers was fined multiple times for unsportsmanlike conduct, usually for yelling at officials after calls didn't exactly go his way. In total, he's only been fined $7,500. Now at this point, you gotta be excited to figure out how much this dude has made. Over 17 NFL seasons, Philip Rivers quietly stacked $245 million in on-field salary, making him one of the highest-paid quarterbacks of his entire era. And he did it without ever winning a Super Bowl. During his 2025 return with the Colts, Rivers was earning $73,823 a game. But that wasn't the real payday. That contract extended his credited NFL service, unlocking 5 additional years of league-paid health insurance, not just for him, but for his wife and all 10 of their kids. When you factor in contracts, investments, and off-field income, he walks away with a $100 million net worth. Thanks for watching.